Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video. This one is a bit of a longer one, so sit back, grab a snack, pause the video, and enjoy. We are going to be running through Hot Pot Jackpot's 8-0 regional victory. This is actually a regional qualifier in India, so a little bit different than some of the Play Pokemon regionals you've seen me play in, maybe some of your favorite European battlers play in, where they are in-person events. They have phones provided for you. They're on stream. At least some of the battles are on stream. So this is a little different. This is a remote qualifier in India. And I believe if anyone that played in this or Hot Pot Jackpot can let me know in the comments, it seemed a little different where you actually knew the opponent's movesets as well on their team registration. That's how it appeared to me. So we're going to be going through his run. Hot Pot Jackpot, a former GBL leaderboarder. And what's funny is he sent me this footage, and like 2 years ago, this guy was in my DMs reaching out if I offered any coaching. And now, 2 years later, the dude is freaking killing it. So pretty dang awesome. And he's running a relatively standard team of Medicham, Lantern, A9, Trevenant, Noctowl, and G-Fisk. And I was going to make graphics as well for the opponent's teams, but he sent me the opponent's teams, and honestly, like, they're all very standard. They're all very standard. Not a whole lot of variety. If there was a lot of variety, I think seeing the opponent's teams in their graphics would have been helpful, but there weren't really any out of the ordinary picks. So we're just going to be going through this regional run. And here we go in game one. We see the Lantern into Reggie. Opponent safe swaps, Hot Pot immediately swapped into the Medi and actually lures out the A9. So perhaps the opponent doesn't have a hard check to Medi that he was comfortable swapping it out. Or maybe Noctowl is like their hardest check, and that way he was trying to lure it out there. But Medicham does win this matchup in the 2-shield pretty much no matter what. A9 can only win this matchup by landing a Dazzling Gleam, so they go for it there, and they're going to take the shield advantage as opposed to trying to retain switch advantage. I wouldn't be shocked to see Registeel come in here to absorb the damage, but no, Noctowl comes in, and to be honest, this is probably a mistake. Well, no, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, because if you come in Reggie, although you can soak up the damage, although you can soak up the damage as Reggie, then Lantern is just going to take out the Noctowl. So we actually... Oh, interesting. I wonder if this was a misclick. In my opinion, you're probably better off just letting the Medi go down there to make sure you align Trev here with the Reggie. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit of nerves. I've been there before as well. But at this point, you probably just commit to a complete farm down and then have double C-Bomb for Noctowl. And so long as Noctowl doesn't have a move loaded, you should get the win. But Noctowl does have the move loaded. And let's take a quick rewind as to what happened there. Was that just a misclick? Because if we rewind, yeah, opponent swaps the Reggie, and I think it's just a misclick. Swapping the wrong thing. So that's one Hot Pot Jackpot. First game of the day, potentially. Looking to get back. That's a tough way to lose, knowing you definitely had a win con there. And now we've got Lantern into Shadow Swamp. So gonna see the same strategy, and this time it works more effectively, luring out the Noctowl. Now, if it's a Shadow A9 and back, this could be concerning, but I expect him to play the 0 shield here. No, okay, gonna shield. Wants to get a shield off of Noctowl, perhaps. The concern, as he does get the CMP here, is if you get shields down, sometimes that can allow Swampert to really go to town. But takes back switch. Wow. I think the opponent probably should have shielded, because now the game's pretty much over, right? Now the game's just pretty much over, because now you've got Lantern on A9, and you've got Trev on Swampert. So you just let Medi go here. You come in Lant. When they swap, you swap, and it's pretty much GG. I think the opponent could have made Hot Pot Jackpot's life a lot more difficult there if they had shielded the Noctowl. I think this kind of lets Jackpot off the hook a little bit. And now the Swampert has no shields to protect itself against Trev, and they don't even bother throwing their Hydro. Like, yeah, the game was probably over, but I think you at least throw your Hydro, give yourself a chance. Because now I don't know if, like, this won't even KO. But we'll get the Powder Snow down. So I guess if you, like, somehow bait and get there, that's the only play. But this isn't even Dazzling Gleam range. So even if you successfully bait, Gleam wouldn't quite KO from this range. It would put Lantern quite low, actually. But I think Lantern definitely lives. So that is 1-1, it appears, against Mr. Atlash Blaze. Decisive game 3. Tough lead. Medi into Knock. Gonna safe swap the Lantern and met by a Medi. So we're seeing the safe swaps here. Like atypical safe swaps that can normally get hard punished by something. But it seems that the opponent's team has been able to get away. With it. Oh, wait a second. Thunder on the Lantern. What the heck? I'm sorry, I hate to jump around here. Let's see, I'm at 5:17 on the recording. Was he rocking Thunder in the previous game? He was. Bro, Thunder Lantern. Holy guacamole. Holy guacamole. All right. Sorry, jumping around here. Now we should be about to where we were. We safe swapped the Lantern after losing lead Medi versus Noctowl. And now we're in this matchup, Lantern versus Medi. Medi is going to win this matchup, it appears. In the 2-shield scenario, opponent gives up Switch, which could be a grave error. Because let's see what's in back. If it ends up being like A9 in the back, I think this was actually like the lose con. And now the Noctowl, after taking some counter damage, is in like double Rock Slide range. Because normally 2 Rock Slides isn't quite enough. This is going to allow the G-Fisk to overfarm, kind of hard punishing the Noctowl. And now G-Fisk... Okay, Noctowl does get to another move, but G-Fisk is going to be able to get off a move against whatever's in back. And it is the A9. So I think this opponent had some win cons himself and really just needed to value Switch advantage more. Is this the Gleam already? I wasn't counting. Just the Weather Ball. Had to commit to the Gleam there. Going for the Ice Punch. In comes the opposing Medi, and then the Noctowl's still there, right? But I think it's just one counter away from fainting. Yeah. GG. Yeah, I think the opponent just needed to worry about Switch advantage a little bit more than they did. They seem to be too concerned with the farm down. But Switch advantage is so important in this game but it can be tough, right? It can be tough in advance to decipher when should I let myself get farmed down because I need to preserve alignment, or when can I not afford to let myself get farmed down and I need to switch out. I think when it's something like a Metacham farming you down, if you have something to soak up that energy, sometimes that's maybe more okay to let yourself get farmed versus like if a Shadow Swampert is farming you down, you're like, crap, if I let this Swampert mud shot me down, that could be devastating for my back line, so I probably have to get out of here. So it's tough to make those decisions in the moment, but bit of a warm-up match in that first set. And now we're playing Deep Honshu, 1, 2, 3. Hot Pot Jackpot. Looking to keep up the wins And this is a very strong lead for Jackpot. Going for the Rock Slide bait here. A little bit risky. Taking the first Surf. This is a very comfortable matchup for G-Fisk. As long as you have a decent IV G-Fisk, you should be able to win this even shield straight Earthquake. Opponent goes for the catch, but they were a little bit off on their counts there. And this is going to be pretty devastating for the opponent. Because now you can get off both Rock Slides. Maybe even just stay in completely. And I would imagine once this Noctowl is out of the picture that Trev is going to have a field day. Trev is likely going to have a field day. Shadow Ball gets shielded by Fisk. Very nice overfarm, now throwing the Rock Slide. And Jackpot also knows as long as he can win this matchup and align Trev with Lantern, he's in a pretty favorable spot. Nice timing by the opponent, throwing on CMP, and we're actually going to see Hot Pot Jackpot let it go. Come in with Trev. Lantern's got to get out of there. Chipping, interesting. I wonder if it's Medi. Is it Medi in the back? It's G-Fisk, okay. So I think the opponent was probably better served switching out immediately and not giving Trev this huge energy lead. And now Jackpot is like, maybe he was trying to catch, but he's kind of just going to sacrifice the Noctowl here. Noctowl doesn't have anywhere to go really at this point. So you're just going to use it to soak up all this damage from G-Fisk and preserve your Trev to sweep, which I really like. Going to throw the Shadow Ball here. I like the Overfarm as well, so in case Lantern swaps in, you probably get to a move. And actually they catch, but like this is totally fine. Because G-Fisk is now in like Seed Bomb range, so you can probably just farm down Lantern and throw a move at G-Fisk. And you can even Shadow Ball it to be safe. Gotta let it go. It's a Thunderbolt. Lantern probably should go to 2 Surfs here. But that's fine. And CMP here still has a shield as well. Trebmeister, looking scary as always, knocks out the G-Fisk. G to the G. And it's time for game number 2 here. Oh, got a little bit ahead of myself, it appears. Game number 2. Tough lead. Lance into Trev. Gonna have to safe swap G-Fisk, and the opponent safe swaps their own G-Fisk. So this is another thing you see sometimes. People have the tendency to, like, they swap, so I have to swap as well. Probably was better served just staying in, because Trev can typically beat G-Fisk, but opponent does successfully get the base. That's gonna keep them in this matchup. It's going to really keep them in this matchup. Will we see a shield come up? Oh, calls the Rock Slide. This opponent, oh my gosh, this opponent is a mad lad. But now, like, the game is just over, right? So, rather than, like, making a super risky decision there to swap your own G-Fisk into a G-Fisk down energy, probably would have been a lot safer to simply try and win the matchup and preserve switch with your Trevenant. And then, of course, you could line up your G-Fisk with the Lantern, which is pretty good for G-Fisk. But now, the game is just over. Because you know there's a Lantern there. You've got a Noctowl in back. So this is a great example of when your opponent switches out, like, you don't always have to switch. You don't always have to switch. And, I mean, I would say most of the time, if you have a great answer, you want to swap right away. But G-Fisk is not a great G-Fisk answer, especially down energy. That is a coin flip answer. And down energy, the odds are probably against you. So I can just allow Lantern to go down here. Might even live. No, it doesn't quite live the Seed Bomb. And Noctowl can just farm down here for a pretty comfortable victory. And once again, these are qualifiers, and I know there are some plays that you guys watching might be questioning from opponents, but keep in mind, like, this is a high-pressure situation. It's a small margin of error. Only the top, I think, 16 spots at this huge Indian qualifier will be able to go on to the next like regional qualifier and get a chance to go to Worlds. So lots of pressure, and also some of these battlers might not be as experienced, especially in the early rounds. But I will tell you, in the later rounds, Hotpot Jackpot's going to face off against some pretty big names. And here we are in round number 3. So a new opponent. Not the best lead in the Swampert. Felt comfortable enough to safe swap the Noctowl. So perhaps the opponent doesn't have like a Lantern or a Registeel. We'll see. Could also predict, like, if there's a Swampert lead, they might be unlikely to have Lantern or Reggie in the back. So once again, I think we're seeing a little bit of potential misplays from the opposition. You have an A9 to answer this Noctowl. Probably we're better off just simply swapping A9 right away. You do get a shield back with the Gleam, and it doesn't look like Lantern can spark all the way down, but that's what Lantern's going to do. Willing to take a Gleam here to spark. Oh no, going to double shield, thinking that this energy is going to be really threatening for the opponent. They probably have to come in with Swamp. And Swamp is low. Swamp is already taking a lot of damage, so it's well within Surf range. They let it go. Oh, man. So, down 2 shields. This doesn't look great, but going to get off multiple Surfs. I mean, G-Fizz has got a shield at some point. And then are we going to see the potential Earthquake catch here? I think we're going to see him try at least. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no, just going straight for it. An opponent had the Earthquake, but I think they were too concerned with the catch. Okay. But Lantern got both shields, right? So now Trev just wins. So the catch wasn't even necessary. Catch actually probably was the worst off play, because you're taking a bunch of damage and maybe giving G-Fisk an opportunity to sweep. So kind of forcing them to expend the Earthquake actually was probably the safest play there. And Trev gets the win. So yeah. Game number 2 against Safi. Lantern into G-Fizz. Tough lead. Swaps Medi. And opponent staying in, man. So yeah, like, I think from these first 3 rounds, opponents they might not be quite as experienced. Because I don't think you stay in there, and you should probably bring at least some answer to Medicham on your team. But sometimes that happens at these regionals. I've been at regionals where I've had to play people like Wild Susan Boyle, round 1, who's well-regarded in the community as an amazing battler. Took me down in round number 1 in Vancouver last year, and I've also played people in the first, like, 2 rounds that were very new battlers that were just kind of there for fun and were running pretty crazy teams with, like, Executor and Dragonite. Dragonite's not as crazy, but Executor is kind of crazy. Okay, well, this game has flipped on its head, so I should probably retract my my critiques, because now it seems like Jackpot's in a pretty bad spot. So I take back what I was saying. I was very skeptical of the plays that were being made, but now you probably just let this go and you sweep with A9. Yeah, so I think I spoke too soon, because the way the opponent played that actually makes a lot of sense now in hindsight. When I saw, like, staying in G-Fisk against Medi, my immediate reaction was like, what is going on? But they didn't have an obvious answer to counter the Medi, so they actually threw the Earthquake and then swapped to help secure that matchup, which made a lot of sense. So apologies if I spoke too soon there. That's kind of just my immediate reaction. Trevenant into Trev, mirror match. But this is really good for Jackpot. The reason being, if you look at his backline, really needs to avoid that Trev. And we're going to see the swap here into Medi. Was a little bit slow on the swap, so we'll probably have to think about, yes, exactly, committing 1 shield here to make sure you maintain alignment, because you do not want to allow the opponent to take back switch here or get that Trev on Lant under any circumstance. Has the double Ice Punch, so probably getting ready to fire right away. Opponent needs to throw their move. I think it's worth the shield, yeah. You got 2 Ice Punches. I think it's worth the shield. And we may even see a combo play, like a double Ice Punch and then a combo play. Could be a little bit risky. Oh, opponent lets it go. Opponent lets it go. Going straight for the Psychic. Gets the first shield. Forces A9 to throw a Weather Ball. Do you just throw your Shadow Ball here? Yeah. You throw your Shadow Ball to get the final shield, and then you dip out, and then you're in a great spot. I like this play a lot, and they let it go. Thinking maybe a bait call was their only win con at that point. I don't hate the no shield there. Wow, nicely done. Kanye 98. Or sorry, Kane 98. It looked like Kanye. Anyway, Trev into G-Fisk here. As we know, a solid matchup for Trev. However, I consider this more of a soft win for Trev. Some people think this is a pretty hard counter matchup. I disagree. I think G-Fisk can make this really close, especially if they shield a Shadow Ball. Suddenly this matchup becomes quite sketchy for Trev, because Rock Slide does 40% or so, and the Mud Shots do slowly add up. I mean, Mud Shots are probably doing what, 1%? So 2 Rock Slides is nearly lethal. Let's see if the Shadow Ball connects. It does. So Wind Switch. In comes Knock. Are we going to see the pivot? We are. Oh, wow. Great decision to swap the Lantern instead of the G-Fisk. If he had swapped the G-Fisk, this could have been really brutal. But swapping the Lantern here, much less dominant for the Swampert. And going to get off 2 Surfs. We'll probably get a Protect Shield here. And now you just let this go. Oh, or not. Okay. Should get to this before the second Earthquake, I think. Yeah. And now is Swampert forced to double shield? It is. Swampert's going to land the EQ here. But you come in with Trev. And then when they swap, you swap. And it should be pretty much GG's from there. Just throws it right away. Nice job. And now G-Fisk versus Knock should be totally fine. Knock does have quite a bit of a head start, so this could be a little bit close. But the Knock has also taken a little bit of chip damage to the point where you may only need 2 Rock Slides. Probably is going to need 3, I would think still, yeah. Probably going to need 3 moves. Or Mud Shot plus Shadow Claw damage. Does Trev have energy? I think Trev has a tiny bit of energy. But Knock is so low. Knock is so low that Shadow Claws might be enough here. Unless Knock can somehow get to 2 Sky Attacks. But no, it doesn't look like it. Wow, that's actually close. Because Knock lived 4 Shadow Claws. That was a little close. Great game. Up against Kane 98, the professional wrestler. Kane. Solid lead. Medi does pretty well here against Shadow Swampert because you can take a Hydro and the counters just are so oppressive here. So I think Swampert wins the 0 straight Hydro if you called the Ice Punch. But we're going to see Jackpot shield up the second Hydro, overfarming quite a bit. Throwing the Ice Punch here as he reaches double Ice Punch. So I can't imagine Swampert shields at this point. They let it go. Go look to farm down with something. It's A9. And going for the Ice Punch bait. This is, I like this play. Is he going to get the shield? He does. Nasty bait. And that's going to force A9 to expend energy. Oh, actually going to shield. to get off the Psychic here and potentially force the final shield from the opponent. Will we see the shield come up? We do. And the swap into Noctowl. Oh my god. Lures out the G-Fisk. This is some high-level stuff. Holy crap. Lures out the G-Fisk here. Oh man, the opponent could have just stayed in. The opponent could have just stayed in, they win. But making the high-level read to not give the A9 an extra farm down where it can just freely Dazzling Gleam your own A9. And now I think might have a shot here. Opponent doesn't fall for the CMP. So this game is not over yet, though. But you still have that Medi. This is really awkward, though. Because Medi probably doesn't even... You have to catch. Oh! Opponent didn't throw. I'm pretty sure they had a move. And you should hang on to a Dazzling Gleam. Let's do a little bit of instant replay there after this Gleam connects. Opponent had the move, right? Scarlet Whiz. Little bit of zoop. Instant replay. So we see this matchup play out. Shield so we can land the Psychic. Knock. 4, 5, 6. Let's just say it had 5 there. Like that's 5 right there from G-Fisk. So let's just say it has 5, 6. So it has minimum 1 residual here. Minimum 1 residual. 4, 5, 6. Definitely had the Rock Slide. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, you know what? Okay. So the opponent probably didn't want to throw the Rock Slide. That would simply allow Jackpot to then farm him down and get to his move even quicker. So I think I understand what happened there. But really needed to land a Rock Slide on A9. I see. Okay. Needed to land a Rock Slide on A9, but also didn't want to take out the Medi. That would simply just give the opposing A9 more farm. Okay. That makes sense. Scarlet Whiz, the next opponent. I think Jackpot 4-0 at this point. And catches a positive lead here in match number 5. Medi into G-Fisk, and we see an Azumarill for the first time. And if you look at Jackpot's team, he's got pretty good Azumarill coverage between Lantern and Trev, but neither of those Pokemon in the current lineup. Perhaps wasn't expecting his opponent to bring the Azumarill. We're going to see him stay in, but I think you got to swap out here at some point. And we're going to see it here into the Noctowl. Gonna elect to take the first move here. Let's see what Azu's running. Ice Beam, standard moveset. I could be totally wrong, but based off how much that Ice Beam did, I feel like this might be a more attack-weighted Noctowl. Maybe. Well, no, Jackpot doesn't have to let me know, because he still has to play in his next tournament, so he doesn't have to reveal IVs here. Go for Shadow Ball here. We'll get off some nice chip damage. So you are down to shield, but you maintain alignment. You maintain your Medi on the G-Fisk. You have to anticipate the opponent's going to swap out here. And it is Trev. This is where... Let's see how this plays out. I like the shield. I feel like it's unlikely they're going to bait you here. And you're going to get off a lot of Powder Snow damage. But the next Shadow Ball might knock out and make things a little bit dicey. I think is going to need... Okay, they have to Shadow Ball here. C-Bomb's not going to be enough. They do Shadow Ball. Oh, but Medi has lots of energy, and nice job just throwing it immediately. You just don't want to allow Trev to get to a move. Medi isn't quite in Earthquake range, but it's getting a little close to Earthquake range. This is going to be close, but I think Medi does hang on here and gets to the Ice Punch. Oh, okay. Wow. Very comfortable with the counts, knowing that he could just reach the Psychic to guarantee more damage. Very comfortable from Jackpot. And maybe that's a matter of, like, you won 4 matches in a row. You start to get a little more confident in your counts and just committed to that Psychic when I think Ice Punch would have been enough. Okay. Safe swaps the Medi into Azu. And probably wants to, like, lure out the Trev here or something. But the opponent just staying in, which is quite smart. Opponent recognizes they don't need to swap out here. Another move coming through. We're going to see a shield come up, make things a little bit more uncomfortable for the opponent. There's the Trev, and I think this is a mistake. And I've done this many times in tournaments. I don't think they should have swapped in here, because now you give this massive wing attack down. You already saw that there was a Noctowl, right? You already know there's a Noctowl waiting for your Trev. And now your Trev essentially just goes to waste. It's free farm. Like, what did your Trev accomplish here? It took out the super low Medi that Azu probably could have taken out on its own. So I think a bit of a misplay here, but opponent still is up a shield. Let's see if they come in with Azu. They do. They should hang on to a Sky attack, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a shield. Wow, nice no shield. This just seems like so much work for Jephus to cover, but maybe Jephus can do it. They do shield the Shadow Ball. Yeah, I think you just stay in with Noctowl and force Jephus to expend 2 Rock Slides, and then you try and sweep with Lantern. Because this isn't going to KO. Noctowl flapping away. Not going to get Mudshot down here. Jephus is forced to throw, and yikes, this is like borderline Surf range. This is probably Surf range plus the spark damage that's going to ensue. And that was CMP. So I think the only win con here for the opponent is making a catch. We see the charge move coming through. Will we see a shield come up? We don't. And they... Oh, that's game. Savage bait call. And now, like, you have to anticipate the catch. Just really nice patience there from Jackpot. And, man, it seems like his play has started to elevate as the tournament has gone on. As you start to get those wins piling up, the confidence, it seems, starting to raise. And next opponent is Beelzeboy. I've played this guy so many times, and I still have... It's one of those names, like, I'm very familiar with this player, and I've never heard someone say his name. I've always just read it in my head as, like, Beelzeboy. Kind of reminds me of, like, Beast Boy. But maybe it's Beelzeboy. Beelzeboy. But I've always said in my head, Beelzeboy. Anyway, really good battler. I played him in GBL many times, and the last time I played him in Factions, he actually swept me with a Relicanth, which I will remember for eternity. Getting swept by a Relicanth. I totally disrespected the Relicanth that week. I consciously was building my team in PvPoke and saw that Relicanth was my biggest threat, and I'm like, he's not going to bring a Relicanth. He brought a Relicanth, and I paid for disrespecting the mighty Fossil Fish. But anyway, 2 terrific battlers here, and we see a very neutral lead. Lantern into Medi. Lantern can win this if you land Thunderbolt. So that's what looks like Hot Pot Jackpot might go for. Gonna shield the potential Psychic. Oh, Thunder. I keep forgetting that he's running Thunder, which is super interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And maybe it helps secure this matchup in particular. Because you just need Thunder plus Surf, it appears. Wow. Maybe that's why. Maybe Hot Pot Jackpot can let us know if he watches this video. Okay. Swaps in Medi and gets punished by this Charm 9. However, still has that Noctowl lurking in the back for the Lickitung. So I think is in a pretty good spot here Doesn't get to another Ice Punch. Is unfortunate, but gets off the Surf. Will we see the shield come up from A9? I think you have to shield this. Yeah, nice recognition from Beals Boy. And we're going to see Lantern as well commit the shield, knowing if he can just get rid of this A9, Noctowl can beat the Licky and should be in a pretty comfortable position now. Instant swap, just not going to give Licky that free farm down. And Licky needs like 4 body slams here, which I just don't think is going to happen. Don't think it's going to happen. Sky Attack's going to start flying, swooping down from above. As Mr. Noctowl. Only going to need like 2 Sky Attacks plus Wing Attack damage, it looks like. Because I don't know if he even gets to a 3rd before Wing Attack's KO, yeah. And as you're going to see, even 2 body slams wouldn't be enough to knock out from here. Just a very comfortable matchup for Noctowl. Which is the reason you don't see Lickitung quite as much in Beals Boy. A little bit of a kind of Power Whip BM. Like, you've got me. I'm just going to throw the Power Whip. Next game. 1-0 jackpot. Will he hit the jackpot in this next battle? We shall find out. All right, Medi into Swamp. Pretty solid lead. Swampert building up energy. Throwing a Hydro Cannon here. So you know it's a Hydro, so you don't really need to shield or even think about shielding. In comes Reggie to try and catch the energy, maybe? But now, once Reggie's out of the picture, I would imagine Noctowl's probably going to be pretty free against whatever's in the back. Reggie does get the Zap debuff. Going to see a Shadow Ball. Get off here. Lands. Interesting that he allowed the Reggie to throw. Oh, wants to farm down with Medi. Wow. What a cool play. Lets Reggie take out the Trev so he can farm down with Medi. Is it Charm9? No, it's Licky. This is interesting. This seems like a pretty good spot for Jackpot. However, that Swampert's energy could be threatening here. How healthy is that Swampert? It's... Oh, man. Took a lot of counters there, but going to get off at least 2 Hydros here. I don't think it's going to get to a 3rd Hydro. I think Beals Boy had to stay in with the Licky to do more lick damage and keep his Swampert healthier. But I don't know if that would have been enough anyway. And even up to shields, this Licky, you see how low it is. Like, you just commit to fast moves at this point. Yep. Nice recognition. And a bit of an awkward match there. That maybe Beals Boy wishes he could have played a little differently, but I don't think he necessarily misplayed too much. It was more so just a tricky situation that didn't quite work out. And here we go. Nava Empire, who at the time of recording this, maybe it was number 1 on the leaderboard just a few days ago. Just a tremendous battler from India and a very worthy finals here against Nava Empire, who has been dominating the GBL leaderboards as of late. Ever since they got rid of Sneaks and Denials, I think Nava Empire started seeing a lot more success. Was definitely handicapped a little bit by Sneaks and Denials, and now we've got the Medicham Mirror match. What an exciting matchup. We see Jackpot going straight for the Psychic here. Get shielded. And let's see how Nava Empire plays this. Does build up quite a bit. I think like 5 past Psychic. Goes for his own. Lands it. Interesting that we see Jackpot throw so late. Does end up getting the CMP. And will we see like an undercharge here? If it's a Psychic? Probably just an Ice Punch, right? Yeah, just an Ice Punch. Very nice. So Jackpot content with shield advantage, it appears. And maybe he feels like his G-Fist can really go off once the Medi is out of the picture. So just saving shield advantage for that G-Fisk. Ice Punch connects. It's Lantern. And we're going to see Lantern throw a Surf here. And G-Fisk going to let the first one go. And Nava Empire staying in. Tried to catch the potential Earthquake, but just great patience on display from Jackpot. And now this G-Fisk is going to really go to town against this back line. I think if you're Noctowl, you just go for Sky Attack here, personally. Yeah, because the shield is almost inevitable at this point. Does go for the Shadow Ball. Safer play. It's easier for me to say, right? I'm the one watching. And a nice combo play is going to put... Oh, but do you let this go if you're Nava? You let it go, you overfarm with Lantern. You can take a move here. Oh, you have to take this, save the shield for the G-Fisk, and you overfarm as much as you can here. Farm up to like 100 energy and throw Surf. Oh, but it was CMP. Shoot. Oh, and it's Thunderbolt. Oh, no. Wait. Must have oh, wow. Okay. Must have assumed his Lantern was going to win CMP. And the Earthquake connects. Felt like he had to call a Rock Slide there to win the game. Must have expected his Lantern to win CMP. But either way, I think you could have afforded to just overfarm there a lot more and go straight Surf. Because you weren't threatened. But I guess G-Fisk had so much energy, you knew that the double Rock Slide was also going to be threatening if you took the move. So, makes a lot of sense. Definitely a tricky situation. Noctowl into Medi, favorable for Noctowl, of course. Medi can win the Zero Shield, though. However, it seems like this is an attack-weighted Noctowl. Probably Shield Farm down. Shield Farm down. You get Switch Advantage. So kind of the roles reversed of what we saw last game. Actually, no. Kind of this... Yeah, kind of roles reversed, right, of what we saw last game. This time it's Nava Empire taking the shield advantage. Lantern going to land the Thunderbolt here. Remember, that Noctowl has tons of energy banked. And if it's an opposing Noctowl in the back, I think Jackpot's in a pretty comfortable position here. G-Fisk coming in for a Mud Shot down. Probably going to have to take the Surf. Still 2 shields on the side of the opponent, and it is the Noctowl. Wow. And a pretty risky line, to be honest, from Nava Empire, running that ABA weak to Trevenant that we've seen like Onion Frank run in the past. Noctowl just has so much energy. It has at least 1 Sky Attack, like almost 2, I believe. So this is a little bit weird. Shadow Ball connects. But Noctowl, I don't think is going to be able to wing attack down here. I think G-Fisk is still too healthy. We see the combo play. Double Sky Attack queued up, already loaded. Bang. And it was CMP. Oh my god. Got the combo CMP. And no shields remaining for Noctowl. Still a shield for G-Fisk. But wait, that Lantern is still there? What's still there? Lantern's still there. G-Fisk forced to throw. Almost has the double Rock Slide. And that is a GG in a very hectic game to secure Hot Pot Jackpot in 8-0 in the Indian Regional Qualifiers. And him, along with 15 of the other top finishers, are going to advance to another tournament where a certain number of spots, I'm not sure exactly, maybe someone that knows can let me know in the comments, but a certain number of spots in that next tournament are going to go to Yokohama for the World Championships in August. Awesome stuff. Always cool to see the different regions and how kind of like the different strategies and movesets and team comps differ. We saw a lot of the standard kind of meta in this regional run, but we also saw Thunder on Lantern, which I've like never really considered running. I mean, I've never actually brought Lantern to a regional. because I feel like it's a little bit kind of hit or miss RPS for the most part, but obviously it's a very strong Pokemon, and it's one like I think is you definitely want to consider bringing on your team if you have like a good strategy around it. So all that said, thank you very much to Hotpot Jackpot for the submission, and congratulations on just an incredible run. Best of luck in qualifying for the next stage, the next chapter at your next regional tournament. So all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, longer one. So feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy it. Feel free to comment down below. All comments are appreciated. They help the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe if you are indeed new to the channel. All that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.